Let's go ahead and close your eyes. Allow yourself to ground down. Allow yourself to lift your chest. Bring yourself into the room, onto your mat, into your body. Just taking a few moments to settle, to center, to arrive. Allowing those surroundings to become part of your practice, not a distraction if it's possible. Start to check in physically. Checking in mentally. Just acknowledging the week that was behind you. The day that was behind you. So take a nice deep inhale. And sigh it out. Trying to let that go. Allowing yourself to settle in this present moment with your breath, with your body. As you settle in, before you settle in on an intention, I'm going to read a little quote from the Little Book of Happiness. Each moment is different, and each moment it is more or less the same. The same but different. Different but the same. The same but different. Different but the same. Many things are like this. Understand this, and you will be happy. You will never be bored. So I kind of like that quote, and that sometimes people find yin boring because it's not so much movement. But give it this, it's the same. You're staying with your breath, you're staying with your sensations, but yet hopefully you're noticing the things that are different in your body. You're noticing how it feels a little bit different the longer you stay. So yes, we're staying, we're being the same in yin, but things open a little differently. And again, once you notice those differences, try not to judge them. Try not to hang on to them. Just let them be, acknowledge them. So starting to set an intention for your practice, whatever your purpose was of getting to your mat, or maybe something in that quote resonated with you to be your purpose. And allow your hands to come to your heart center. Either palms pressed together or hands cup over your heart. We'll set and open the practice with one om or a sigh of the breath. Exhale fully. Take a nice full inhale. Allowing the hands to come back down to the thighs. Pausing there for a little bit, letting that vibration, that breath settle in. And then as you exhale fully, allow the chin to come to the chest, let those eyes blink open. And then we'll come to our first pose. Our first pose is going to be a sitting pose. We're going to get into our hips a lot today. So we're going to do shoelace pose. So with shoelace pose, you're probably going to sit up on something. And you have a couple options. I like to put my blanket kind of at an angle so that my legs can go on either side and my sit bones are at the corner. And then you have a couple options here. So your first option is we're going to use our right leg first. So our first option is left leg straight, right leg on top, right? And prop yourself up as much as you need to be able to do this. Second option, drawing that left heel back. So you're stacking your knees. If you can almost stack your knees, but you feel like you need a little bit of support, you can place a pillow under your top knee, under your bottom knee. You can put a pillow under your top foot. So it's a little bit more at an angle. So the target area is the outer hips here. That's our target area. So we're gonna sit with that. We're gonna do a few other little things with our arms and with our neck, but our main target area is our hips. So settle in there. Once you're there, take a nice deep inhale and sigh it out. And then remembering those 3 principles of yin, coming to that edge, feeling that sensation, not our deepest edge, but just there at the edge, so we feel the sensation. And the second one is we become still. No fidgeting, just noticing the sensations that are happening. And then the third principle is we sit for some time. So see if you can let go of your energetic holding of the muscles. See if you can relax the muscles. I know I tend to grip in my glutes because this is very tight for me. So I have to mindfully tell my glutes, my booty to relax. So today, most poses are going to be about 4 or 5 minutes in length of holding. At any time, you're welcome to come out of these poses whenever your body feels it needs to. Listen to your body, allow your eyes to shut down, go into your breath. You can either stay here if you're feeling comfortable. You're going to rotate to the right, left hand on the top of that right knee, maybe right hand comes behind you, just for a little twist again, finding your edge, that first little sensation, and hold. And your choice with your neck, you can look back for a little bit of twist in the neck, or maybe even drop your chin toward your chest. And as those sensation, as the edge dissipates, you can always find a new edge, but do so mindfully, slowly, with the breath. As you inhale, come back towards center. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk your right hand out toward the right. Taking your left hand, you have the choice, leave it on your hip. You can rest it over your head or turn the palm back behind you, thumb faces down. Bring the back of the hand to the low back. So a little bit of reverse prayer, maybe between the shoulder blades, and start to walk out to the side, pressing into that hand. Maybe resting your arm on a block, a pillow. Maybe it rests on the floor. Maybe you have that as your edge. And then from here, neck can stay long, or maybe you start to drop that right ear toward the right shoulder. Maybe you start to play with maybe dropping the chin toward the shoulder as well. A little deeper neck stretch, maybe out into that left shoulder as well. And all of these extra arm motions and neck motions are always optional. You can always stay upright or even just lean forward toward the legs. Take a big inhale here. Exhale. And then slowly bring the head back to neutral. And ever so slowly press yourself up. Keep the hand behind you if it's there just for a moment. then slowly take that arm, reach it out to the side, and release it down. Sitting here for another minute. You have the choice, you can stay upright. If you're feeling like you want to lean forward, as you lean forward, push back into the hips, so hands will come forward to draw those hips back round through the spine. Maybe your head rests toward your chin, or your chin toward your knee, or maybe you lay over a bolster and let the head dangle. Breathing into those sensations. Again, once you find that edge, try to settle, try to find that stillness. It's when we're most uncomfortable, when we find things the same, or we find things not feeling as deep as we think they should, we start to fidget. We start to try to entertain the brain. Let's see if we can let that brain be a little bit more still, a little bit more happy with tuning into the sensations and our breath. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to bring yourself up. And then ever so slowly start to draw those legs out in front of you. And the knees can stay bent to begin if that feels good. If it feels better to stretch them out, you can do that. Maybe pause for 2 or 3 breaths with just some stillness, noticing where the blood is flowing in the legs, what's moving again, what feels tight. And then if it feels good to bring some movement in, maybe point and flex through the feet. Maybe rock the legs from side to side. You can even windshield wiper the legs if that feels good to you as well. Take a couple more rounds of breath here, and then start to transition to the other side. So our left leg will be on top. So you have that option of left leg on top. Notice how that feels. I know my left side's always different, so it takes me a little bit longer to get into my left side. And just notice where you might need some props. Knowing our sides aren't symmetrical, so they're going to be different. And then once you're there, take a nice deep inhale. And let it go. Let yourself find some stillness. Settle in for a bit here, noticing those sensations. Try to relax energetically through the muscles. Maybe that happens on this nice deep exhale. And then either stay here, if you're comfortable, start to twist toward the left. Hand can stay on the hip. If it's okay, maybe hand comes behind you. And then just noticing what you'd like to do with your neck. Maybe rotate it, look back. Maybe bow chin to chest. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. Bring yourself back to center. And then you're going to start to lean toward the left, just ever so slightly, and then taking that right arm, your choice, either by your side, overhead, or behind the back. And then continue to lean over to the left, finding your edge. Elbow can come to floor, maybe you reach your arm out, maybe arm to a block. And then maybe that head starts to tilt toward that left shoulder. Finding a deeper stretch in that left or in that right side. And can you really drop into the stillness of the body, noticing how each breath affects the body. Can you let go energetically of those muscles? If you haven't already, maybe it feels good to drop the chin toward the bottom shoulder, finding a little deeper stretch in the neck and the right shoulder. Take a nice deep inhale here. And sigh it out. Slowly bring the head back to neutral. As you exhale, sit yourself up. Keep that right hand behind you if it's there. Pause for a couple moments here. And then ever so slowly start to reach that right arm out to the side. Push it away like you're pushing a wall away. And then coming back, finding some stillness in the legs, maybe finding a deeper edge if it feels good. Stay up tall or maybe start to lengthen forward over a bolster or over the legs. And then find stillness here. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And sigh it out. Ever so slowly, if you're leaning forward, come back all the way up. Pause for a moment. And then very slowly unwinding those legs. Moving very slowly. It's okay to grunt and groan. Feel like you're older here. We're using those joints a little differently. And then just pause for a couple moments. Allow the effects, the rebound of that pose to take hold. Noticing what's same but different on either side. And then starting to bring in some movements that feel good, that feel natural. Maybe point and flex through the feet, maybe ankle circles, maybe rocking the legs, maybe leaning back and doing some windshield wiper legs. We're going to slowly start to make our way toward the wall. We're going to start with legs up the wall. So if you would like some padding under your hips If you're on a harder surface, please do that. Have your blocks, your strap, your pillows handy so that you won't need to move away from the wall once you're there. And you don't have to be super close to the wall. You just have to be able to put your legs up the wall in a comfortable way. And again, the easiest way to get there is get up as close as you can to the wall, and then just start to lay back as you swivel and bring the legs up. And let those legs go up toward the ceiling. And just kind of adjust yourself and what's going to feel best for you here to lay down. And the legs don't have to be super rigid or straight. They can be a little bit bent. And again, if you're worried about maybe your legs being completely relaxed, you can take your strap and kind of just cinch it loosely around your calves so that they're not going to flop out as you relax those legs. And just find a comfortable position for your arms. Once you've found this position, take a nice deep inhale and let it go. Let yourself feel the support of the wall. Maybe still feeling those effects from the last pose. Can you drop in deeper with your breath? Can you let go of any engagement you have in the jaw, the neck, the shoulders? Can you let that go on your next exhale? Taking a nice deep inhale here. And side out. Slowly start to bend the knees. Draw the soles of the feet together, coming into little Baddha Konasana, butterfly stretch. This is going to be our starting point. There's going to be an option to go deeper after 3 minutes. Our deeper version will be Malasana at the wall. So you can stay here. You can use any props you need to under your knees so that you're kind of getting that stretch in the hips and the inner groin. When we come into Malasana, we'll just place our feet on the wall. And again, you can hold your knees for a little bit more support. Maybe wrap your strap around or place the block under. So again, it's deep targeting the hips. But we're starting in butterfly pose for the first 3 minutes. So once you're there, take a nice deep inhale and side out. Settling in, find some stillness. Letting the wall, the blocks, the props support you. If you're having the blocks support you, it's okay to let those legs relax and your feet might come apart a little bit. That's totally fine. Settling into that first edge with stillness. As that edge dissipates, move mindfully to your next edge. Never forcing. Reminding yourself to be paying attention and draw that awareness to any tingling sensations or pain. That's not a good sign. You'll want to back out of the pose, maybe modify a little bit, use more props. Really start to build that awareness in the body with that connection to your breath. Taking a nice deep inhale. Let it go. So you can stay here for another 2 minutes, or start to draw the knees toward the chest, place the soles of the feet on the wall, coming into Malasana at the wall. You have the option of placing those bolsters or blocks to support the knees if you need more support. If you feel like you need a little bit more edge, maybe your hands rest on the tops of your knees, letting those knees come out wide and down toward the floor. You can even have your hands as kickstands for your knees if you need more support there. But then take a nice deep breath and settle in, find some stillness. If this becomes too deep, just come back out to butterfly and hold there for the remaining time. One more minute here. Can you let go of any muscular engagement in those glutes? Can you let those legs surrender here? Getting a little deeper into that hip socket. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to draw those knees toward one another, hugging them into the chest. And then rock a little bit from side to side, maybe point and flex through the feet. And then slowly taking the legs back up the wall when you're ready. Pausing there for a moment. Doing any movements you need to with your legs. Noticing the effects of that pose on the hips. So our next pose, if you would like to use your strap, you could take the strap, or you could use blocks, bolsters under your knees, but one option with the strap is to take the strap out as wide as you can and loop it around the edges of your feet, because our next pose is called straddle pose, so wide leg pose, and it just helps those legs from dropping out too far. If you find this isn't quite at your edge, then go ahead and let those legs open wider. And once you get to about your edge, use those blocks or bolsters to prop up under your thigh so that you can relax your legs. So coming into that wide leg at the wall, you can relax your feet. I even like to give them a little dangle there at the beginning. I like to give them a little wiggle so I know that my feet aren't doing too much energy, because normally when we hold this in a regular class, we are pushing through our feet, trying to really find that intense stretch on the inside of our groin. You might feel that now, depending on how tight you are there, but there's going to be a different sensation that's happening on your outer hips, as your hips drawing down into the hip socket, contracting and compressing those muscles there on your outer hip. But then you're also getting into that connective tissue and your ligaments on your inner groin. So once you're there, take a deep inhale and exhale, dropping into stillness. And I didn't really mention what to do with the arms, but whatever's most comfortable for your arms, either cactus arms, maybe overhead arms, maybe arms resting on belly or towards the wall if you have space. So whatever's just going to feel best for you to let go, to drop into this pose, into your breath, into the stillness. Depending on how tight your connective tissues might be, you might even be feeling it on the inside part of your knee, that connective tissue that runs along there from the inner thigh. You might even be feeling it all the way down into the ankles. Start to drop in more and maybe notice what's different and what's the same on each side, as you continue to cultivate that awareness of your body through your breath. We have about 1 more minute here. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And letting it go. Using your hands to assist ever so slowly. Start to bend the knees. Either draw the knees into the chest, giving them a hug, or take the legs back up the wall, whatever's going to feel best to you for a moment. Maybe even give the legs a little inner and outer rotation. Since we did a lot of external rotation there and hip abduction, drawing away from the midline. Maybe draw it more toward the inline, abducting. And then from here, our next pose we're going to do is the figure 4 at the wall. So you might be too close now, so you might need to scoot away a little bit. I know I like to move away a little bit so that I have more space. And from here, you're then going to take your right leg over your left. So your right ankle is over that left knee. Let your leg relax so it doesn't need to be flexed. And then slowly start to draw that left foot down the wall. So you start to find that first edge of your right hip. So remember, your right leg's relaxed. Your left leg has a little bit of energy pressing into that wall. But we're really getting into that external rotation of this hip, that deeper hip stretch. And this is one, as this dissipates, you can slide that left foot down the floor more. Or you can kind of wiggle your hips a little closer to the wall to find a new edge for your stretch. So whenever you're found your place, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, settle into stillness. As you start to feel that right leg relax, if you feel like it's coming toward you too much and you're not getting the hip stretch, you can always place a blanket or a pillow in your hip crease to allow that hip to continue to get the stretch and not allow that knee to come toward you, but keep it more into that external rotation. So that's a way to keep yourself going deeper without really energetically turning on the muscles. And again, being mindful that maybe some of your veins on the outer ankle of your right ankle are being pressed into that left thigh. So if you start to feel that tingling sensation in the leg, you can always move and adjust your right ankle so that doesn't happen. You have about 1 more minute here. So if you'd like to go a little bit deeper and you don't have any padding into your hip, if you'd like to thread your arms through and grab onto your top shin and start to hug those knees in using the weight of your arms, not really using your arms, but just adding the weight of your arms, that can be an option for you. And that's only if you're not already at your edge. If you're at your edge, just stay there. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to bring that leg back to the wall. Taking the legs up the wall. Do any movements you might need to with that right hip. Maybe pedaling the feet, pointing and flexing through that right ankle or ankle circles. And then as you're ready, moving toward the second side, taking that left ankle over that right knee, and then slowly start to slide the leg down the wall till you feel that first edge. Let that right or the left leg be relaxed and heavy. Use any props that you need to help yourself feel your edge. And then take a big inhale. And as you exhale, drop into stillness. Be mindful of any tingling or any numbness that might start to occur in the toes. You don't want to cut off the blood supply. It means you might be cutting off a vein or a nerve or a vein that's running through the legs, maybe even a nerve. So you want to adjust so that sensation dissipates. And you're feeling that hip joint on the left side. We have about 1 more minute here, so if you'd like to deepen that edge by taking those hands and placing them around the shin and just letting that right leg drop down and just letting gravity take hold as the weight of the arms deepen that sensation in the left hip. If that's accessible to you and feels good, go ahead and hold that. If not, return back to the foot to the wall and let arms relax. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. Slowly and mindfully start to bring yourself out of this pose. Pausing wherever you need to, doing any movements you need to feel the effects of the pose, and to notice the sameness and the difference between sides here. Any movements that feel natural, that feel good, go ahead and take them. Go ahead and draw those knees into the chest if they're not there already. We're going to transition to our next pose, but it's going to be on our belly. So bring the soles of the feet to the ground. If your feet can't come to the ground, move yourself away from the wall first. And then start to roll yourself over to one side, all the way onto your belly so that your knees are next to the wall and that your feet go up the wall. You might want to have a bolster or a pillow to add on some sensation here. So our first edge is those knees at the wall, legs are up the wall, maybe even your toes drop in so that you can relax those legs. First edge is maybe elbows are a little bit further away from you, so you have less. This is going to be a sensation more. It's going to give us a nice little release on our hip flexors, but then it's going to get into our low back a little bit. So our target is the low back. So our elbows can be out further. If you don't feel that edge, you can just start to walk those elbows underneath you more. And you can hold a little bit of energy in your shoulders, or if you'd like to, you can completely let that chest kind of round forward, maybe even drop the head forward. Finding some sensation all along the spine here. So once you found that first edge, go ahead and take a deep inhale. And sigh it out. Letting yourself surrender into that stillness. Just notice where you might be gripping energetically. I know I tend to grip in the back of my legs, in my booty, my glutes. So see if you can relax those areas. Feeling that sensation in that low back, near the sacrum, into the lumbar spine. For those that would like to add sensation, maybe your edge has dissipated, you would take that bolster or blanket and prop your elbows up onto that block or bolster, and then again, let your head round forward. So you have that as an option. And again, if you've moved to a little deeper variation to find a deeper edge, notice if you're gripping in the legs any bit or in the jaw. And try to relax that on your next exhale. About 1 more minute here. So if you're feeling that maybe your edge is dissipated a little bit more and you want to go a little bit more than what the bolster offers you, you can start to take those arms and straighten them, coming into seal pose. But really lock the elbows, let yourself kind of hang out in your wrist, elbow, and shoulder joints if you are straightening your arms, as well as the low back. And then again, try to relax a little bit through the legs if you can. It's a little bit more intense, so be aware of that. Try to relax your breath as much as you can and settle into stillness there. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And sigh it out. If you're up on your hands, just gently bring those elbows back to the floor. And then start to walk the elbows wide. Rest your forehead on top of your hands, stack your hands. And then take your right knee, draw it out to the side and look to the right as you're coming into a little bit of half frog to release that. Take another deep inhale here and let it go. And then start to draw that knee in, taking that opposite knee out. Turn your head to the opposite direction. And then take a couple breaths there. Take a nice deep inhale there. And sigh it out. And then taking that right arm, extend it out toward the top of your mat. Roll toward and open up toward that bent knee. Start to draw both knees toward one another. And then roll over onto your back. Bring yourself back onto your mat. Pause there for a moment. So we have one more pose, doing a twist to each side. So making sure you have space on each side. And so with this twist, you're going to want to have the distance from your feet to your knees, distance away from the wall, like you're laying in a chair. So adjust yourself for that. Have any props you need to on your sides. And then from here, you're going to take your feet, press them into the wall, shift your hips to the left, and then draw your knees and your feet together and start to drop them to the right. Once your knees and feet are on the ground, press the feet into the wall, squeeze the knees toward one another for a moment, and then let that left shoulder be heavy. So you might notice you might need props under your right knee if it's too much to get your knees to the ground. You might need some propping under your left shoulder if you feel that that shoulder is lifting too high. But then wherever you are, you might even, I like to even scoot in a little bit closer to the wall so that my heels touch the wall. Once you're there, settle in. Take a nice deep inhale. And let it go. Settling into stillness. So again, still feeling the effects on that top hip mostly, the outer hip. But then starting to feel some sensation into the spine, into the side waist, up into the shoulder joint, as we find some rotation in the spine. Your choice, your head can look to the right, it can look to the ceiling, or it can turn all the way toward that left shoulder. If you'd like, you can stay here if you're enjoying these sensations. If you want to go a little bit deeper, your bottom leg, your right leg is going to slide the knee toward the wall so that your shin can press into the wall. Point the toe. And so then you might find you need some prop under that left leg if it's too much for the top hip. And breathe there. And again, you can stay here if this is feeling good, or if you want to add in a little bit more, you're going to take your left hand. You're going to start to draw your right foot toward your bum and maybe hold on to the top of your foot for a little bit of a thigh stretch as well. Try to let that left shoulder completely relax. Not necessary, but just another option for people that maybe their edge has dissipated. They have a little bit more accessibility in their shoulders to get to their foot. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And let it go. If you have that bottom foot, go and release it. Taking that top knee and slide it on top of the bottom knee. And then slowly draw those knees back up to center. Bring your hips back to center. Pause there. Notice the effects. Legs can go up the wall again, maybe windshield wiper, maybe hug the knees in. Whatever feels best here for you. Maybe it's just staying still in the rebound, noticing the effects, noticing the differences in each side, noticing what might be similar in each side. And then when you're ready, transitioning to the other side. So placing the feet on the wall again, shift your hips to the right this time, and then start to drop those knees toward the left. Pressing the feet into the wall, pressing knees and ankles into one another to begin. Find some energy. Maybe draw your hips a little closer to the wall. And then relax and exhale. Let that right shoulder be heavy. Let the top knee relax. Let the bottom leg relax, using any props you need to feel supported here. And again, deciding what your edge might be for your neck, as well as your shoulder on the right side. And taking a deep inhale. And as you sigh and let it go, settle into stillness. And you can stay here, or if you'd like a little bit more of an edge, taking that bottom knee, sliding it toward the wall, allowing your shin and the top of your foot to lengthen along that wall. And then you might notice you need a little bit of propping for that left leg. I always like to prop under my shin. I find it gives me more support for both my ankle and my knee, and really allows me to get in deeper into that right hip. And for those that are finding, maybe they want to find a different edge, start to draw that left heel up toward your glutes, taking your right hand, grabbing the top of the foot or the toe, and then relaxing that shoulder down. Again, not necessary, but if you feel you have it in your realm of accessibility, this is an option for you. Notice where you might be holding on to any muscle energy, any contraction. And see if you can let it go on your next exhale. Taking a nice deep inhale here. And letting it go. If you have that left foot, go ahead and release it. Go ahead and draw your top knee toward your bottom knee. And start to draw those knees up toward the ceiling. Mindfully shift the hips back to center. Pause there for a moment, adding in any movements or stillness that feel good to you. And then coming into our final position, Shavasana. Go ahead and slowly move yourself away from the wall. mindfully as you can, using any props that you need to so that you can rest fully and comfortably. Supporting either your low back, maybe your cervical spine, under your neck, maybe even covering your eyes with a pillow or a cloth. Doing any movements that you need to first, maybe taking a big stretch, maybe windshield wiper, letting go, stretching, engaging. And then once you've found your position for final resting, take one final inhale. As you sigh it out, surrender into relaxation. I'll bring us out of Shavasana with 3 bows. Take rest. Feeling free to stay here if this is feeling good to you and you feel like you need more time to restore. But otherwise, if you're ready, start to bring some movement into the fingers and toes as you deepen your breath. And as you're ready, start to reach your arms back behind your head, slide your feet together, give yourself a nice big stretch, maybe even a yawn. And then if it's accessible to you today, you're gonna roll over to your left side using your left arm as a pillow. This is just gonna help keep the right side, which is the energy side, on top to start to stimulate that energy side after being so still on that yin side for so long. And just pause here for a moment as I remind you of our little quote from today. Each moment, it is different. And each moment, it is more or less the same. The same but different, different but the same but different, different but the same. Many things are like this. Understand this, and you will be happy. You will never be bored. So as you're ready, slowly make your way all the way up to seated. Keeping the eyes closed if you can. Settle in, bring your hands to your heart center, allowing yourself to come into the room, onto your mat, into your body. Noticing what is the same from the beginning of practice. Noticing what is different. Acknowledging those shifts. And as you transition off your mat tonight, allowing the strength, the energy, and the breadth of your practice to help you take forward that intention that you've set, that purpose for getting to your mat, from your mat into your day ahead, or into your evening ahead. We'll seal everything in with one final Om or sigh of the breath. Exhale fully. Take a nice deep inhale. Bowing your head slightly. Take a moment, think of one thing in your life that you truly are grateful for. And hold on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thank you for joining me for this Yin happy hour. Drink lots of water, eat some veggies, and wear some sunblock. We'll see you next time. Namaste.